Welcome everybody to another Beyond Bitcoin Hangout. Today is Friday, April 29th, 2016. Today we're joined by various members of the Beyond Bitcoin community. They are all passionate crypto advocates who have volunteered in the crypto space for a good period of time. We started out in the BitShares ecosystem, and of course, as BitShares and as an ecosystem grows and evolves, we are starting to reach out and look into other aspects of both BitShares and alliances and partnerships and all kinds of cool things that we can do with the technology in our hands. How we're going to start this hangout is pretty much the same as we always do. I'd like anybody who has a project that they would like to plug to introduce themselves and say just a quick, maybe 20 seconds about what projects that they're supporting. And if you're planning on talking today, that would be one thing that I would ask. It's not obligation, but something that I would consider if I were anyone here. This helps to show people what's going on under the water, so to speak, under the water where the iceberg is most of it hidden. So with that said, can we start out there, and then we're going to move into Data Security Node, giving some updates about what he's doing and some things that I think he's going to unveil today for the first time to most people in the community. I'll start out. Hello, everybody. My name is Fuzzy. I volunteer for these Hangouts and have done so for probably about 2.5 years, a little bit over. I reach out to people in different ecosystems and try to bring them on to get traded on the exchange and to meet the community members who are helping BitShares as a decentralized exchange grow and thrive. I'm also volunteering and working with something called sharebits.io. That is going to be improving over time and will be relaunched at some point in time in the future, but I don't want to give any specific dates yet. With that said, does anybody want to take the torch from me?
Yeah, I'll go. My name is Once Upon a Time, and I just want to let everyone know that the stealth project is far from dead. We just had to investigate some technological innovations so that it's going to be very safe to back up your wallet, which was the problem with that caused the stealth project to get off the rails there for a little while. It was just too dangerous. And I'm working with Ken Code and with Tom and some other people, the board of advisors, and we are coming up with new solutions. So you can expect stealth to be in your future.
Have you found someone to host the wallet, the technical part?
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, we're still working on that there.
Okay.
Just in the beginning, let's keep moving on, and then we can go back to any of these questions. Who would like to be next to stand up and introduce themselves and the projects that they're passionate about in this space?
I can do a little. My name is Fabian, also known as C-Rock. I've been with the community, with the BitShares community for even before the birth of the testnets, the initial testnet. So I guess as long as Fuzzy has been part of the network or the community. I've been working for BitShares quite a bit. Did a lot of documentation, Python coding, technical support, a lot of business development, talking to people on meetups and that kind of stuff. I'm still excited about BitShares. I see that now with more projects coming in and more people, for instance, the Maker, using BitShares as an exchange, people will see, and this exchange actually works pretty well, and this brings us a little more exposure, which is quite great. Despite the current market cap, I do see quite a bright future for BitShares. But as some of other people here, I'm also working on some other projects, not maybe directly related with BitShares, but indirectly. For instance, I'm also working a little on Steam. I'm also working a little together with Nexus to trade their assets on BitShares, and I'm doing also a little consultancy, for instance, for BunkerChainLabs and Muse, and busy doing blockchain stuff.
Awesome.
Good day, everybody. My name is Jonathan Bahai. I am the president of BunkerChainLabs, and also known as Data Security Node in the forum as a witness. We are a witness on the BitShares network, and also under BunkerChainLabs, we serve on the committee.
Awesome. Anybody else want to speak up? Or
Brindle Swan. Currently, I'm excited about creating content for Steam and Steemit, and using that to drive attention to BitShares as well.
Great.
Yeah, I would also like to say something. So my name is Christoph. I'm working together with Ken at BitShares Munich and also together at Echo. I would like to encourage everybody to reach out to local communities, to do a lot of meetups, and to go to certain kind of events all about blockchain and fintech, and just talk about BitShares. This is what we did for the last, I would say, 6 months, and we have really, really good feedback so far. Right now, I'm organizing 4 different events in Munich, all about blockchain, BitShares, and fintechs, and we get really, really good feedback. And the interesting thing is that we also get a lot of good contacts from people who are really interested in the technology itself, and they want to look into our products we are producing. So that is Echo and the best system. So if you have a good idea what you could build on BitShares, just write down a white paper, think about what you need, think about the partners you need, and try to pitch it in your local community and just see what happens. I think you will figure out very soon you will have a magic moment, and a lot of people are very curious about the technology and how it works, and it shouldn't be hard to find funding for your project.
sounds awesome, Chris.
Oh, hello everyone. My name is Michael Maloney. I am been a member of the BitShares community here for a couple years, I think, almost 2 years. I'm mostly a writer, but I've been doing a lot of consulting work lately as well, specifically with a number of projects with Jonathan Bahai and BunkerChainLabs. One of which we're very excited. I'm very excited to be here at the announcement for this morning. Jonathan's going to go into that in a little bit here. But let's see. I guess I'll stop there. I just wanted to introduce myself because I think at one point or another I'm inevitably going to be talking. So thanks.
Fair enough.
I guess I'll go next. And this is Ken Code. I also work at BitShares Munich full time. We're doing a number of different projects right now. Tons of stuff that I want to do, like the bond market and recurring and scheduled payments, margin trading, rate limited free transactions, and tons of different things that I want to do. But some of the stuff that we're working on right now is stealth and point of sale systems, both standalone point of sale systems and also integrated systems with Odoo and systems that are upcoming, such as SAP, Verifone, and beyond. So plus we have multiple wallets that we're releasing. We have the BitShares wallet, which is already out. We're working to get it into the Apple App Store right now. And we also have a native Android material design wallet that's going to be coming out by May 1st also. So multiple wallets, multiple point of sale systems, just stuff all built on the existing BitShares 2.0 platform. So it's pretty awesome because everything that we need to build a decentralized company is here. You just gotta start building.
So true.
Hey guys, this is June. Working on a startup called BitCash. It's a simple USD wallet built on the BitShares platform. Happy to be here, hanging out.
Well, we're awesome, and we're loving the fact that you're here.
Thank you.
We've got how many people who've spoken up already? That's just a little bit under the surface, the people who are here talking. Has anybody not been covered? Okay, so if for some reason I have not heard anybody, please speak up and let me know that I missed it. But it seems like everybody here who is working on a project and wanted to speak up and say something has plugged a project or something that they've been doing, or has told us a number of things that they're up to behind the scenes. These are the things that we talk about being the rest of the iceberg. And when you see BitShares, most of the time you see just the tip of the iceberg, right? So I appreciate everybody speaking up. Byron P79, you said, I would say hi, but my mic is not connecting. Byron, at some point in time, if you want, I could help you out with that. It won't be right now, obviously, but perhaps after the Hangout we can deal with that. Fair?
Yeah, I'll just introduce myself quick. My name is Tim. I'm a BitShares witness, and I operate CryptoFresh.com.
Check out CryptoFresh.com, guys, if you haven't. Anybody who's listening to this.
It's an awesome work.
Indeed.
Okay, well, it looks like Byron got back to us, so we're good to go. The next stage, I suppose, is that we could call it, is where Data Security would like to talk about the project that he's going to be announcing today. So without further ado, I'm going to step back, Data, and I'm going to shut up and let you kind of unveil the shiny things.
Thank you very much, Fuzzy. Again, my name is Jonathan Bahai. I'm the president of BunkerChainLabs. I'm here today to introduce to you something that we've been working on for a number of months now. And I'm actually coming to you, for those of you who don't know, the reason that our company is called BunkerChainLabs is because we are located inside a nuclear bunker that is in Nova Scotia, Canada. It was built back in the 1960s. It's 64,000 square feet. It was meant for about 350 people to be able to survive in here. But while this place was operational, they actually every single day played war games. They actually did drills as though an actual nuclear attack happened, and everybody would run an exercise of being able to save as many people as they could. So what happened was this is how the place operated throughout the years. So fast forward, I now own the bunker, and last fall I got contacted by a man by the name of Neil Haran. Neil is very skilled in the gaming industry. He's worked for various companies that are very well known, including LucasArts. He's also led various teams in the gaming industry. And he contacted me regarding the bunker, actually. He wanted to get to know me and look at prospects for business in the future. And then late last fall, he started to he started to talk to me about the prospects of building something on the blockchain. He was interested in basically creating something of a sort of tournament platform for gaming. Sorry. So as we continued to talk, he was looking at all the different blockchain technologies, and of course he came to me and he knew that I was very involved with BitShares, and this was right about the time that 2.0 was just about to launch. So the technology really hadn't been proven. And then following the launch, and then a couple of months later, started to see the results, and then we started to engage again in discussions about the prospects of building this new network. And so for the past, for many months now, we've been designing this new graphene-based network, and it's called Peerplays. And if you go to peerplays.com right now, you can see that we've actually done a pre-launch page, and we are specifically introducing it to you, the BitShares community first, because of course this is a BitShares project. There's many innovations that are going to be introduced with this development. It's going to be very very robust, and it's very specific into the gaming industry. Hold on a second.
Sure. Would you want me to play this video?
No, we don't need to play. Everybody's welcome to go and check it out for themselves. But I'm just here today to basically introduce to you the pre-launching of this project. We are holding a crowdfund next week. So over the course of the next week, you're going to be hearing a lot more about the project. Once the crowdfund launches, we expect it to go pretty quickly. We have a really excellent team behind this. I actually posted in the forums talking about the team, and we'll be putting that up on the website later as well. And yeah, it's a very exciting project. I mean, I can't tell you the countless. I mean, like, we've been working on this for over 3 months now. We've come so far along with it, and the things that we've learned along the way have been phenomenal. Some of the more interesting things that this is going to mean for BitShares specifically is that part of this project is going to incorporate the development of sidechains technology. We've designed it so that Peerplays is not looking to act as an exchange in itself, but we're going to interface with the BitShares exchange as a means of being able to convert tokens. So it's going to mean massive liquidity. If anybody knows anything about the gaming industry, it's a huge industry, and the tournament industry is actually growing by leaps and bounds every single year. So it's a huge opportunity. And yeah, so with Neil on our team, along with there's myself, there's Neil, there's Dan No's team from Block Trades, there is Fabian, Xerox, there is also Michael, as he mentioned, and we also have Ed Hall and Chris Coney, who are part of our team. All of us are working together on this project and are very excited about it. So yeah, I'm actually lost for words because it's so. I just can't believe that we're finally making this public. It's been so under wraps, and everybody. It's just, I just can't tell you how exciting this is.
Can you tell us
Well, it's great news.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the project itself and its thrusts?
I'm a little lost for words right now, so I'm actually going to hand that over to Michael. I think he does a fantastic job of hitting on the key points in terms of the thrusts as you asked. Michael?
Yeah, great. So the basic gist of it is a tournament management and wagering platform that is built onto the blockchain itself. So we've taken the design of a graphene blockchain, and we've integrated a number of different smart contracts, sorry, excuse me, which will be accessible through the API. And there's basically we've taken all of the points in an esports tournament platform and transferred them all onto an actual blockchain. So we've essentially secured the sort of the weak links in the chain, as it were. Part of the advantage of this is going to be that anyone who has an existing esports tournament platform will be able to plug in to the blockchain, to the Peerplays blockchain, and gain the network effect of all of the Peerplays users. If you think about the model similar to the way BitShares' model is set up, where essentially the blockchain itself is a database and anyone can build UIs that access that data and display it however they want, right? So depending on what demographic you're going for, depending on what it is that you are, what your potential customer base is, you can develop your own UI. The way that we're setting it up actually is that it's going to be sort of plug and play in a lot of ways, in that it's going to offer out of the box features that current platforms can plug into very easily. In order to onboard, we've got a number of partners that Neil is working with that are looking for something exactly like this. So that was the first sort of half of the impetus for why we were building it. Now, the other very interesting and very exciting aspect of it is that we are able to program games directly onto the Graphene blockchain. Now, I'm not talking about, extremely complex games like, big multi-person shooter games or anything like that, but I'm talking about specifically casino games and, other player-to-player sort of head-to-head games that are able to be programmed through a series of smart contracts directly onto the blockchain. So what we've set up essentially is the ability for players to schedule tournaments or interact with each other in what we're calling open tournaments, which will be essentially it's a program where anyone who's online that desires to play at a certain time will automatically be matched with other players who are there and willing to play simultaneously. So the sort of the tagline to Peerplays is that there's no house in Peerplays. It is you're always matched with other players. So anyway, we've got so the other half of it is the ability to program games directly onto the blockchain and essentially have the world's first completely decentralized, completely blockchain-based gaming environment for a number of casino-style games, a few of which are going to be rolled out with the very first version of Peerplays when we release that. So let's see. I'm just trying to go through my head and make sure I hit on all the main points here. Well, let me stop there and ask Tom or anybody else if they have any questions. It might be easy for me to sort of answer questions at this stage. I know no one has probably had a chance to go and pore over all the information yet, but if you have any questions, go ahead and shoot, and I'll answer them best of my ability.
Is it basically a new platform based on Graphene, or is the whole platform built on top of BitShares right now?
Yeah, the platform itself is going to be its own ecosystem, its own Graphene blockchain. As Jonathan mentioned, part of this part of our development is going to be the development of Graphene to Graphene sidechains. So that's another thing we've been working pretty hard on for the last couple months, putting together a plan and starting to develop that part of it. So that it's essentially going to interface with BitShares so BitShares, the BitShares community, in a sense, we are relying upon, at least in the beginning, to and I know this is something that everyone here is working on, but to focus on, getting liquidity in the bit asset markets and, bringing people to BitShares and making BitShares the exchange that we all know that it can be. And of course, naturally, part of the sidechain development that we're doing. And I don't want to speak authoritatively on this because we're not fully sort of decided on any of this, but there's a number of different code level features that I believe will be at one point or another will be offered to the BitShares community for some sort of arrangement for the use of that code. So
what is the corporate structure and jurisdiction of the group that's developing Peerplays?
Jonathan, that's your side. Actually, I'm going to pass the mic back to you. We'll tag team this.
Sounds good. At present, we are at present BunkerChainLabs is the developer on this project, and in the future there is going to be an entity which will be registered specifically for the launch of the blockchain. And of course, that's going to be in a jurisdiction that will be advantageous to the launch of this blockchain. And then following that, it will likely be dissolved in a similar fashion. But it is being designed as an entire self-governing DPoS chain. So there will be a committee involved which will coordinate and guide the development as well as the growth of the entire ecosystem.
What regulatory?
Well, that sounds awesome.
What regulatory concerns have you considered so far? It seems to me that a few are introducing gambling, you're going to come under heavy scrutiny by certain greedy authorities.
Yes, of course. That was something that we looked into quite heavily, actually. And there are ways there are various places around the world where that can. I mean, you can register companies and be a licensed operator, and that is the direction we want to take. Is to have, even though the site is decentralized and everything else, and that and whatnot, and that we do want to have the registration in place, make sure that we are compliant. So that way that, like you said, we don't have the greedy authorities per se looking to cause problems. It's a lot easier to, it's better to operate within the confines of regulation rather than trying to skirt them. And we are very cognizant of the requirements of that. Even though when you look at what it is we're offering and what we do by technical terms, the way everything operates, we shouldn't have to, but it's always better to stay one step ahead of things. So there are countries in the world where this is best domiciled, and we do have a short list of those.
Well, then what is the method of distributing profits to the token holders?
Yeah, I can probably get into that. So the network earns a profit from the rake, and the rake, of course, or a rake is a term for a percentage of jackpots. This is a very standard procedure. Almost every casino gambling site uses this procedure. The majority of the esports tournament sites use this procedure. It's used in sports betting. It is a proven revenue generation model, and those fees that are charged for the rake of jackpots will then be split in a number of directions. The way that the DAC is set up specifically is to be sort of self-supporting and self-reinforcing. One of the very exciting features, in fact, the sort of most exciting feature in our mind is that the DAC itself, the core token holders, or we're calling them FBA holders actually, will receive a payouts from the fees that are collected. So essentially, for those of you who are familiar with BitShares FBAs, well, this is you once upon a time, of course, but everyone else here should probably kind of be a little bit familiar with that. The entire DAC is set up to be one giant FBA. So the holders
being
of the
a
core
fee-backed asset.
A fee-backed asset, yes. I'm sorry. I use my acronyms.
It's
There's so
okay.
many acronyms flowing around here. Yes, a fee-backed asset. So essentially, as an FBA holder, you are receiving payouts. You will receive regular payouts. We have a program set up that is a profit sharing or profit distribution program that will automatically route the fees on the blockchain that are paid by the, as a rake of each jackpot to the holders, to various different places. One of the places is the holders of the FBAs. There will be, there's sort of a hybrid system we set up for paying witnesses, and there's also an optional development fund. And there's another feature, which I'll go ahead and just go into real briefly now, called Mega Jackpot. And so the Mega Jackpot is a fund that will collect a percentage. It'll be set by the committee, but it'll collect it continually collect a percentage of the fees into that fund. And the Mega Jackpot fund is basically a way for the network itself to sponsor jackpot events. So, in a normal situation, you would have, players who are contributing to a jackpot with their buy-ins, right? Think of a normal jackpot pool, where the players are contributing and the winner takes the jackpot. And for the Mega Jackpot fund, of course, that will be an account, or a virtual account, let's call it, where fees are accumulated, and then the major events can be scheduled in order to distribute that fund. So that fund, sort of a one-way fund. It can't. Nobody can access the funds, but the committee specifically will be able to schedule and coordinate major jackpot events that are sponsored by the network itself, and everyone can buy into those events. Another feature I'm just going to throw in here, since you asked, Tom, and I will, hopefully this isn't too overwhelming, sort of gushing out all this information, but just to give an overview, there's a token called Power Up, and that's going to be sort of the I'm going to call it the coin of the realm, as it were. It is a rewards token, and it is something that will be distributed to players. There's different algorithms that we're developing to distribute those for all kinds of different reasons. But essentially, that's going to be the rewards token that is the requirement in order to buy into mega jackpot tournaments. So in order to actually participate in any of these tournaments that are funded by the network itself, will require that you use rewards tokens in order to buy in. These rewards tokens will be tradable on the exchange. There'll be a sort of UIA asset. So that will be part of that's part of the.
So let me make sure I understand you correctly. You gave a lot of information, and I appreciate it. It was very. It's actually a lot of good information. I understand things much better now. But in terms of anybody being able to participate as an FBA holder, to be somebody that gets to reap the benefits of the FBAs that this thing's built around, what's the procedure for investing in or becoming a long-term FBA holder for this?
Sure. Well, I'm gonna answer your question with a statement that I'm gonna start out by saying doesn't necessarily apply specifically to your question, but I'm going to say that we are accepting donations for the crowdfund, and the holders of or the donors will receive a receipt for their donation in the form right now in the form of a BitShares UIA called Peerplays. And that is the token that we will be distributing throughout the crowdfund, and the crowdfund that we're moving forward with this Friday. So,
and that's the token that will return FBA benefits if you're successful. I know you can't promise investment advice. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for, you mentioned that the whole premise of this is one big massive FBA. Well, I'm that makes a lot of sense, and it's great. That's a fantastic idea. So how do I get the FBA?
I don't want to fumble here at all, but for legal reasons, the statement that I made is basically the only statement that we can make at this time. You're welcome to infer what you like, Tom.
I guess I'll have to. Thanks.
With respect to this being a DAC on its own, have you guys, well, I think it's a silly question to ask if you guys have, but I'm just going to ask it anyway, and we can move forward from there. Have you guys looked into what PeerTrax is doing and seen kind of the places where you guys are similar and where you guys aren't?
I'm sorry, did you say PeerTrax?
Yeah, what are the similarities and differences between Peerplays and PeerTrax?
Well, that's a very sort of tall and in-depth question. I would say, generally speaking, I'll tell you the shorter list, which would be the similarities. And I'm definitely not an expert on PeerTrax. I don't know any more information really about PeerTrax than what Cobb has released publicly. I have helped a little bit on a few things, but I'm not.
That would actually be Hack Fisher, just so you know.
Oh, you said PeerTrax. That's not. That's
my apologies. Yeah, my apologies. Play. BitShares Play. My apologies. Wow.
BitShares Play, as far as I know, I'm not privy to any of that information. We've tried repeatedly to access some of that, and they seem to be at least in my experience, quite inaccessible. So I don't have an answer to that question at this stage.
I found the same. Okay, yeah, and the reason why I asked this was just because if people understand how play works, because it's been around, or how it was planned to work, or we won't get into where it is right now because, to be honest, I don't know exactly where it's at. However, there were similarities as far as I saw it, with respect to you would be able to do things like game betting on a blockchain, or you'd be able to have, run a crowdfunder. I don't know if you guys were planning on doing that on the actual platform for various games, but what they were going to do is make it so you could potentially do crowdfunders and have your own game tokens. I'm trying to see, are there any similarities in those ways? Are you guys planning on doing that? Or is it just going to be more of like a game betting platform and you plug into whatever games you want to offer these tournaments for?
Sure. Yeah. So there's a number of different models and ways to actually interact with the Peerplays blockchain. First of all, just sort of commenting on the idea of having your own tokens. We will be utilizing the BitShares UIA structure. People will be able to create their own tokens. We've got a number of different models and ideas in the works for that. So I don't want to kind of go over that too much right now because there's still some things being discussed. As far as actually interacting with the blockchain, so there's a server model and then there's on-chain model. The standard model for specifically esports tournament people or websites and providers right now is the tournaments are played on a server, and the winners are determined by the authority that runs the server, which is generally the provider or the company that runs the website. So the Peerplays blockchain, one of the smart contracts will be a custom tournament smart contract, which has all very, very large number of different parameters that can be set, and I'm not going to be able to list them all off the top of my head right now, but essentially, very much in line with all the different parameters of a general tournament management platform. And so, as a registrar for a tournament, you are essentially have the ability to be the authority on the similar to the way a provider would be the authority on the sort of winner of the game or the winner of the round. And that is one model. So then the flip side of that is actually on-chain games, in which case the blockchain itself, or the smart contract for the game, looks at the interaction with the blockchain itself in order to determine who won the game. So there's, in other words, there is no there's no third-party authority. It's the blockchain itself. So as far as being able to play whatever game you want, yes, essentially any provider that has pretty much literally any game in the world that they can host on a server, they will be able to be the registrar for a tournament, and Peerplays will handle the payment processing. So there's another aspect of being able to offload the liability for gambling payment processing. There's different companies operate in different jurisdictions, and a lot of which have run into problems with that, and the payment processing is one of the sort of bottlenecks, as far as whether or not you're running a gambling site. And so that's I don't know if any of that really directly answered your question or not, Fuzzy, but hopefully that was.
Well, it gives us more information, and my question was kind of general, so it's hard for you to answer it in whole, right? But
Yeah,
I guess
I have a
my
more
main
specific question. I have a more
Go ahead.
specific question then. I've got the announcement on the forum right in front of me, and it says that the first distribution will begin on May 6th, which is not very far in the future. And it says there's going to be phase one, 100,000 tokens at $2 donation each. So since that's only a week in the future, you must know what the name of these tokens are and where they're going to be issued.
Yeah, sorry if that wasn't clear before. The name of the tokens is Peerplays, Peerplays, all capital letters. It is a UIA token on the BitShares blockchain right now.
So then why are you not issuing a security from your understanding?
Because we are accepting donations, and those tokens are a receipt for your donations, and there are no promises attached, explicit or implicit. And you can read through the literature for more information.
Sure, where's the literature?
We will have the terms and conditions of the crowd sale posted on the website sometime this week. Right now we just have a video because this is meant to be a very soft pre-introduction to the BitShares community. Within a few days, all of the information will be up on the website so that everyone will have a chance to look it over and before, well before the Friday crowd sale beginning date.
Thank you.
I'm going to have to pause this just for 1 second.
I heard a screaming baby.
Jonathan and everybody involved with this, I really think this is a great idea. I'm loving to see your initiative on it, and it sounds like it's a promising venture. So I wish you all the best of luck with it.
I agree with Tom as well. I'm wondering if you're planning on any integration with Steam and the Steam community, and Steam being the new social media, not the gaming Steam.
It is on our radar. Seeing as though it's a sort of very new development here just over these last couple of weeks, it's definitely still in the realm of planning. But I will just say that I personally believe it's a very interesting proposition, and I think I think there's a lot of possibilities there.
Ken here is asking. Data and crypto, sorry guys, just playing devil's advocate here, but this gambling stuff is very serious business. You should get your legal structure signed off by more than one legal firm before another line of code is written. Do not wait on legal stuff. But the question that I think of and I want to ask is, because from kind of the standpoint of what you were talking about, crypto, is that it would actually be less of the blockchain and more of the individuals offering the services that plug into the blockchain. This is at least how I see it, and please tell me if I'm wrong, but that would mean that Bob in Nova Scotia can have a different legal circumstances than somebody who is, say in Louisiana under a different legal structure.
Yeah, I don't want to get to. I'm not a lawyer. I want to preface this by saying, that we are and we do take the legal consequences very seriously, like Jonathan said, and we have been consulting with legal professionals, and so I can give you just kind of a brief overview. I'm not going to say that this is authoritative, but this is a little bit of my understanding. At some level, so maybe just some sort of meat to chew on a little bit. First of all, the provider, any provider that's providing a site for and hosting a tournament on their site will be interacting with the Peerplays blockchain. None of they won't be handling any of the payment processing. They'll be essentially just offering a site that allows people to play games and then reports the game winner. That will be the things that they're doing. Specifically, we are writing code, but BunkerChainLabs specifically will not be running or operating any hosted client, similar to the way Cryptonomics is not hosting a BitShares client. Right now we've got a handful of people who are hosting those clients, like Ronnie, who hosts OpenLedger, and there's a number of other ones, and there will be in the future, all kinds of new people who are operating BitShares hosted wallets in their own jurisdictions, subject to their own laws and subject to the compliance of whatever jurisdiction they're operating in. So there is a separation of sorts that occurs. The larger concern for us has been the development of the structure of the DAC itself in order to shield individuals operating within the DAC itself from any potential legal consequences. And so that's been the main focus of our planning and our consultation and the advice we've been getting and the questions we've been asking. So I just Ken code is not incorrect, that it is a very serious business, and we have to do this the right way because I think the reasons are pretty obvious. But all of that said, I think that we also have a sort of very potentially liberating situation here if it's done correctly, because of the nature of this new technology that we have, and the boundaries that we are up against, and ways in which we can comply with those boundaries, and yet sort of the sum becomes greater than the whole becomes greater than the sum of its parts. So anyway, yeah, that's a little, I guess, a little bit of perspective that maybe is hopefully is some good food for thought for anyone who has major concerns about it. But at this stage we're doing.
If people want to ask more questions about it, Crypto, where would the best place to do so be? And are you guys planning on providing updates like these in the future, or how's this stuff going to work?
Sure. So as of right now, and maybe Jonathan can jump in if I miss anything, but we do have the thread on BitShares Talk that we just posted. We'll be making more formal announcements in the coming days and in other places online. And the next Friday we'll actually be having a launch party for the crowd sale. We're going to do that live here on Mumble again. And that will be sort of a more extensive Q&A session. I apologize if I kind of fumbled a little bit today. I wasn't actually, we wanted to keep this sort of brief and just be an introduction, but the naturally curious nature of our fellow BitShares community members sort of got the best of us, and so I ended up answering a bunch of questions anyway. But next week will be a sort of more planned, formal Q&A session, and like I said before, we will have a great deal more information out on the website this week, so everyone will have a chance to kind of look all over that, and hopefully that'll answer a number of your questions as well.
Well, we could have expected so many people coming on and wanting to say stuff.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's a reason why we're here, and there's a reason why we love you guys so much, and you love all of us, and this is a great thing that we got going here, Fuzzy, and I would be amiss if I didn't mention Fuzzy specifically for being instrumental in bringing this sort of atmosphere and ecosystem about. So this is very useful, and we're really excited to be able to be here and using this great tool that we all have.
Well, all I'll say is I am more and more pumped every time I hear more things going on. And the fact that you guys are doing something in the gaming space when a lot of people in BitShares are kind of concerned about what Play's doing, it helps to ease some fears in that area, because I know that sector's covered, and they know that sector's covered with the graphene technology. Another chain, baby.
Yep, absolutely. It's we're all very excited about it. We're all also very serious about it, and I think we've got a lot of really great things that are going to start to unfold here in the coming months. And thank you all for your questions and your attention. And we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Crypto.
Thanks, Crypto.
And real quick, thank you, Crypto, for joining us. Thank you for explaining all this stuff. And I really greatly appreciate that you guys are going to be trying to bring the community together around this. let me know whatever you guys need from me for any of this stuff in the future, and I'll do my best to help out.